everyone, welcome back. I'm Di and today I am bringing you another Yarnie update. So I think episode a month is gonna work for me. I wasn't sure how often I would want to do one of these because I wanted to make sure that I had some finished objects for you guys to look at, as well as my works in progress. And I'm a pretty slow knitter and I'm not that fast of a crocheter either, so I do have a couple finished objects to show you today, so let's go ahead and start off with those first. I have been working on the Sesame Street Crochet Along, which is being hosted on Facebook. I will link the event down in the description box below in case you want to join in. This crochet along doesn't have a specified end date, so you just have to make sure that you are posting your blocks. And the way this one works is they'll give you the first block, and then when you put a picture of it up in the comments of their photo gallery, then they'll send you the next block. So I have finished 2 blocks so far. And by the way, this crochet along is only being hosted on Facebook. There is no links to it on Ravelry from what I can tell. So yeah, you have to be able to get to the group on Facebook. So like I said, it's the Sesame Street Cal, and the first block is Ernie. I've done mine in Tunisian crochet just because I prefer the look of it. This block doesn't have a lot of detail in it, and in fact the crochet along is considered a beginner's crochet along because it's a very easy graph to do the color work. And so because there's not a lot of detail in it, I wanted really crisp blocks. So I decided on the Tunisian crochet technique. So this is Ernie, and to me it actually looks like a really orange beaker, which is fine because Beaker is one of my favorite Muppets. But yeah, the first block is Ernie. The next block that I did was Bert, or an Angry Bird. To me it kind of looks like the Angry Bird, but this is Bert, so of course Bert and Ernie go together. And I'm just doing these in acrylic yarn just because that's what I had on hand at the moment, so bear with me, I'm still trying to get my bearings on how to do one of these types of videos. But this one was done in the Loops and Threads acrylic yarn, which I picked up from Michael's, and this is the Orange Crush color. And then I just used scraps for the eyes and the nose. I think this is Red Heart Super Saver in white and Red Heart Super Saver in black, and this is Mainstays, which is the Walmart brand acrylic yarn in just like red. I don't know if it has an actual color name because I've had that yarn for quite a while and I lost the band. But this one is Karen 1 pound yarn in the Sunflower colorway, and then again Red Heart white, Red Heart black, and the Loops and Threads Orange Crush for his nose. So those are my 2 finished objects, and sorry about the lighting. I saw it got really dark there for a second. And I guess we'll move into works in progress right now, and I'm not going to show you the same projects that I showed the last time, just so that we can get a little bit of variety in what I show you, because like I said, I am a very slow knitter and crocheter, so these are going to be projects that you haven't seen from me before. The first project that I'm working on, I am keeping in my Haunted Mansion bag that my mom made for me, and it is the third block in the Sesame Street crochet along, and it's, can you tell? I just started it last night, but based on the color, can you tell? It's Elmo! And I'm doing this one in Karen 1 pound in their red color. And I'm using the Tunisian crochet hook. This is Knit Picks Caspian Tunisian crochet hook. And I think, let me see. This is an H. This is an H and 6 millimeter? 5 millimeter. 5 millimeter. So Knit Picks Caspian crochet hook. And I just have it on a, I think this is a 24-inch cable. With the stopper. So turquoise is my favorite color, so of course I had to have the Caspian from Knit Picks. I also have a set of their interchangeable needles. So that is my first work in progress. And then my second work in progress I'm keeping in this bag, which my mother made for me again. I love the sparkly denim, and these are actually pockets, so I can keep things in there if I want to. And in here, I am working on the Elizabeth coat, and this is a Russian pattern. And hold on a second, let me just grab the name of the original creator. The original creator of the pattern was Tatiana Zigalkovich. I'm sorry about my pronunciation, but it is on Ravelry, and it's in Russian, the original. I am doing the transcribed notes from So Virgo, and you can find a link to those on the Ravelry project page for this coat. But basically, the Elizabeth coat is a cabled toddler coat. And again, I'll link it down in the description box below in case you're interested. But my niece is 3.5, and when I saw that coat for the first time, I thought, I really want to make her one, because obviously my daughter is way too old for something like this. But right now there are a lot of stitches. Let me just try to hold it up for you. This, from what you can see, this is the back side, but it goes like this, and then up to here. So it's like as wide as my wingspan, but it's a heavily cabled coat, so you can see that I have all of these colored paper clips, and the different colors tell me which cable is in that section. So there are 9 cable patterns, I think, in So Virgo's transcription, but depending on the stitch count that you use, you can use whatever cables you want to. I just stuck to the cables that she used in her pattern. So I'll try to get up close for you so that you can see. But there's this like braided cable, and then there's this section of stockinette, and most of the cable sections are separated by this like seed stitch section. So there's seed stitch, and then another braid, and then this is, I think it's called the Valentine's cable, and then very compact cable, and then another compact cable, seed stitch, a different braid, seed stitch, this swirly swirly seed stitch, another Valentine cable, seed stitch, the swirly braid, and the tight cable. And this is another tight cable, and the Valentine's cable, and the braid, and then this is the nautical cable. I think that's what it's called. It's some kind of nautical cable. And then another braid. So as you can see, there's a lot of stitches. I think there were 330 stitches to cast on. So I am up to row 19 right now, and this is the row where we start decreasing because it's a bottom up coat, and so looking forward to decreasing some of these stitches because it does take a very long time for me to get through a row. But having these colored paper clips is really helping me to keep track of which cable I am working at the time. I am working this on just a set of boy metal knitting needles. It was like my first interchangeable set. So, and I'm working that on Caron 1 pound acrylic in the color Royalty. And I chose acrylic because, like I said, my niece is 3.5. Her parents aren't really familiar with how to take care of like wool clothing, and I just wanted to make it really easy for them to be able to just, you know, wash and wear and stuff like that. So that is my second work in progress. And then my last work in progress for this video, I am housing in my Charlie Brown bag. This I got from the shop Utterly Adorable Knits on Etsy. I mentioned them in my last video. She is the shop that I got my Muppets bag from. So I had mentioned that I had already bought another bag from her in that video, and it was this one. And it's got my favorite Schroeder on it. And I'm really enjoying this bag. But inside here is my Novelty. And I have a picture of it. It is this. So it's worked from the side, and then it's got this like lace panel on both sides and on the sleeve. I'm just really into like the garment knitting right now. I really am enjoying knitting garments. So I am working this on, like I said, Knit Picks Caspian wooden needles. This is a size 4. Can't see. I think it's a size 4. I'm using the size recommended and my gauge came out correctly. Yes, it's a size 4, 3.5 millimeter wooden needle from Knit Picks in the Caspian wood. So I have worked the sleeve. So this is a sleeve, and then I've got my lace panel on the top. So it's basically gonna lay like this, and then I did a crochet cast on for the rest of the body. So it's like this part right here. And this is like really easy knitting because there is a lot of stockinette. So the only part right now that I really have to concern myself with is this knit portion, and it's pretty easy 4-row repeat. And I am working this on Cloudborn Pima Cotton DK in the color Burgundy. So it looks like this. I actually bought this as a kit from Craftsy because I saw it on one of the Grocery Girls videos on the Craftsy YouTube channel, and I'll link the video below. They did a knit along for this novelty, and the kit was 50% off. So it comes in like the bag like this, and you get all the yarn that you need for your size and the pattern. So it was a really good deal, I thought. So I went ahead and picked that up, and it's my first time working with cotton for a garment. So apparently there are things that you need to do differently as far as how you weave in ends and secure things like that. So it's a learning process, but I am enjoying that knit as well. And that is all of the works in progress I have for you today. Now we can move on into acquisitions. This is where it gets fun, because I have picked up quite a bit of yarn. I should say that my collection is mostly acrylic yarn, because most of what I worked previous to this were a lot of baby blankets. I did a lot of baby blankets, and I feel like for me, when I give a baby blanket, I want to make sure that, you know, it's very easy to wash and easy care and all of that. So I did a lot of them in acrylic. But since I've been watching videos, video podcasts in the Yarnie community, I really wanted to start collecting some wool or animal fiber type yarn. And I mentioned before that I am a patron of the Bakery Bears podcast, and so I have been purchasing some of their yarn. And I will list Kay's Etsy shop down in the description box below. But if you want to make sure to catch her yarn updates, you will want to follow her on Instagram, because that's where she announces her yarn updates, as well as on their podcasts, which are bi-weekly. So she does some Harry Potter colorways, and I picked up a few of them. This one is called After All of This Time, and it is her Snape inspired colorway. So it's on her Bolton base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon high twist, and it is like a tonal gray, and it's got some green and purple and pink and a little bit of turquoise in it. It's very, very pretty. I'll get closer so you can see a little better. So that's the first one I got. And this one is not a Harry Potter colorway. Hold on, I've got another one somewhere in this bag. This one. So this is the other Harry Potter colorway that I picked up from her, and this is Remus Lupin. And I of course had to have it because it's turquoise, and I just love this skein. So this one is also on her Bolton base, which I told you was 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon high twist, and it is just gorgeous. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet. I thought maybe a pair of socks, but I'm trying to put together a So Faded sweater. I'm thinking maybe I might swap this one in for one of the yarns that I had originally picked out for that, but I really like that one. And then I picked up just one of her other colorways. This one's on her Bakewell base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina, and this one's called Water Sprite. Oh, look at those sparkles. And again, this one has like teal and turquoise, a little bit of purple and green, and I just really like that. And then for the Baker Bears podcast patrons, they did a patron only yarn like club, I guess you call it. It was a limited release of certain skeins of yarn based on a theme. And I was interested in this because, you know, I was a part of March Mystery Madness, and the theme for the patron only yarn updates was Agatha Christie. And so I was lucky enough to get a skein of each of the colorways. There were only 3 colorways, and so January, February, and March she released 1. And I was lucky enough to get a skein of all 3. So I'll show you those right now. This one is on her Devonshire base. It's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and this one was Murder in Mesopotamia. And this is yellow and orange and a little bit of like a pinky red, very sunset-like. So that's Murder in Mesopotamia. And then the next one that she released was on her Bolton base. And this is Murder at the Vicarage. And it's this purple and pink with a little bit of blue. And then the last colorway was, of course, Murder on the Orient Express. And this one's on her Hardwick base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% silver stellina. And I'm always showing it to you upside down. And you can see the sparkles. This has like a red and some mauve, brown, tan, and a cream. And it gets real dark, I'm sorry. I'm not using my my light set. I'm using 2 like lamps. But I'm really happy with those. At first I thought maybe they'd all go together, but they don't really. Like I don't think I could do a project with the 3 of them all together. But I got to find something special for those. So those are the yarns that I got from the Bakery Bears or K. Jones. And then, because I have been enjoying doing more of a summery type of garment, I decided I wanted to have a couple more like shirts or tank tops to wear during the summer. So I picked up a shirts quantity of the Shine worsted. This is 60% Pima cotton, 40% modal, and this is worsted weight. And this is the color Cosmopolitan. So I thought I have a tank top in mind for this color, but I'm again not sure yet. But I bought enough that I think I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to with that. And then the next thing I bought, again from Knit Picks, was their Cotton, which is 70% Tanguis cotton, 30% linen. This is in DK, and it's in the swan color, so it's like a off-white, which would be nice to have. I can tell you that I like the feel of the Shine yarn better. It just feels a little more silky. This one definitely feels more like cotton, but I feel like it should probably soften up with a wash or two. So I've got those two, and I will work on those shirts once I'm done with my Novelty. Then this past weekend there was a yarn crawl in my area, and it was the first time that I was able to participate in one. And so we went, and I thought, I'm just gonna pick up one skein of yarn. Said no one ever. I went in with my daughter, and she really liked this skein. This is from House of a la Mode, and it is in their Glitter Beach Bum. I think that's what it doesn't say. Maybe it's not. I think Glitter Beach Bum is actually the name of the color. So the yarn base just says House Fingering. It's a 2-ply, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And it's just a really fun, super colorful skein. Again, with the turquoise, greens, there's specks of hot pink, and oh, it's getting dark again. Hot pink and red, orange, really fun. And my daughter would like a pair of socks in these. She doesn't wear like really like tall socks, so I'm thinking we'll get some shorty socks out of this. Her feet are like the same size as mine, but maybe a little thinner. So maybe 2 pairs of shorty socks if I got a complimentary skein of solid for heels and toes. So that's what I'm planning for this skein. And then they were doing a special on this yarn. It's from Manos del Uruguay. It's the Alegria yarn. 75% wool, 25% polyamide. Polyamide, I think that's how you say it. And they were doing sets. So I picked up this one, and this one is 2 skeins. This really like beautiful colorful skein. This one is called Monglar, and then this teal color is called Teal. And so they put these 2 skeins together so that you could see what they would look like, because they were giving away a free cowl pattern. So either a crochet cowl or a knit cowl. and it was like a faded, so the solid would fade into the multicolor. And so I decided to go ahead and pick this set up. And so, okay, I bought 2 extra skeins, but I'm really happy with those purchases. And yeah, I'm gonna try not to buy yarn for the rest of the month. There was another yarn shop that I checked out during the crawl. I didn't go to all of them because I would have been broke. But there was another one that was relatively close to where I am, and I did go in there, but nothing caught my eye, so I was very good and did not buy anything. But I do have a few skeins of yarn or brands of yarn that I want to try out, and I am saving up for that. But I was bad yesterday, and I bought 3 balls of self-striping sock yarn because they were on sale. And I should have those to show you next time. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. I decided to try out a little bit of a different filming area, just because the last time I didn't feel like I could get up really close enough to the camera in order to show you all of the yarns and things. And so yeah, let me know if you prefer my bookish backdrop for these types of videos, because I can always film over there, and that is where I film my bookish videos anyway. But next time I think I am going to bust out my studio lights. It is getting hotter here where I am, and I don't have air conditioning, but for right now it seems to be okay. And anyway, that's enough of my rambling for now. I hope you're all doing great, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.